In a previous video, I showed you a little bit about an iPad Pro and some of the features that you can do on the iPad to kind of make it easier to see. But one thing I told you at that time was that this was a 6-year-old iPad and some things might change, some things might be different. And when I got a new iPad, I would do kind of an updated video, show you the same things but on a newer iPad and kind of find out if there's some new things going on. So today's the day. So I got an iPad Air and I got the Apple Pencil 2. So we're going to unbox it together. And then I'm going to go through the entire setup process so that you can see kind of how I set my iPad up. So this is the iPad Air with the M1 chip, and it is in the color of purple. Clearly it's my color. So let's get started. All right. This is kind of weird to hold this because my other one is the 12.9 inch. This is the 10.9 inch. So, okay. Now, one thing I have seen is that the colors on these iPads, the newer, or these particular ones, it's kind of hard to see the color, that purple color. And obviously I have purple kind of going on here in the room. There is a purple color. The color's not super obvious, and part of that's because I kind of have a lot of purple going on here in the room. It does have a purple kind of more, it's more of a tint going on. So I am going to let you know, if you are going to be purchasing this and you're anticipating a bright, bold purple, it's not going to be a bright, bold purple. It's not going to be purple like the iPhone 14 purple, and it's not even going to be purple quite like the iPhone 8 purple. That was a little bit kind of like a grayish purple, which this kind of is too, but this is like a darker than what the iPhone 8 was. So just so you know. Okay, so let's just look at what's in the box. Pretty simple. Your instructions, your stickers, you know, the things nobody ever uses. Okay, and then we have a charging brick. I was actually surprised that this came in here because I know the phones, they're kind of doing away with these. However, I'm glad that they give you that because this is a USB-C charging cord. So unless you have some of those sitting around, it's nice that they give you one because I didn't have any spare ones, I would say. I have one for my HomePod Mini, but so that's pretty much what's in the box. So then we have the Apple Pencil. Okay, and it's a little tab. Drop it right away. Okay. Again, instructions, all those kind of things that we don't read. And then we have the pencil itself. This is the 2nd gen. Okay. I have the 1st gen pencil. So let me just see. So this is the 1st gen, this is the 2nd gen. Just for reference sake, it's actually a little bit shorter. I did not know that. Now, What I really like about the second gen from the first gen is that the first gen has a cap and it has the charging thing, which is really nice because it's right here. You can just plug it into your iPad. However, if you have it plugged into your iPad, it's just kind of sticking out of the bottom of your iPad. And it's not bad because it does, you know, like you can plug it in for like 30 seconds and it gives you, I don't know, half an hour of charge or whatever it is. Like it doesn't take much for you to have charge, but while it's plugged in, you have to keep track of this little guy. So if you have a first gen pencil, it is recommended that you get one of those little sleeves that have the ring that goes around this so that it can still hang. It kind of magnets to there, but this second gen is just a little bit lighter, I feel like. And as it magnets to the top, which is really cool. Okay, so we are going to turn this on because we got to go through the setup. Hello. I'm going to hold it like this. Okay, so okay. Now this right here can be really challenging. You are trying to get started with your new tablet and you're like, oh no, I can't read it, you know? That can be a little overwhelming. This is where you kind of have to hold it close to your face until you can kind of get going. So English, okay. So now it's asking me about my country. Okay. They have a quick start, so let's go through this process. Okay, we're going to set it up manually. Choosing a Wi-Fi network. Okay, let me see. Okay. Just has a couple of pop-up things, you know. Touch ID. So we're going to set up Touch ID. Okay. Add another fingerprint. So I like to have more than one fingerprint for multiple reasons, but depending on how you're holding it, if you're holding it up like this, you might want to have a fingerprint like this. So now I'm going to do this finger. So like for now, I can do this now and then go back in and do other fingers, different things. So they're having me do the edges so that you can really have the whole thing. So now I'm going to create a passcode. Apps and data. So you can have it restore everything directly to your device. That's kind of something you may or may not want to do. I don't like doing that just because then all of a sudden everything that was on your other device is now in here. I like to just slowly add the things I know I'll need. So I'm going to don't transfer apps and data. I mean, at least for this particular situation. There are times where that's like for my phone, I will do that, but for my iPad, usually not. Now I have to remember what my password is. Okay, then you have to agree to the policies. Okay. And then we wait. So this is kind of just an overview. I set up the iPad. I did all the usual login stuff. It's kind of unfortunate that you can't do anything about accessibility features. until after you get it signed up and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of annoying to me, but fortunately, it's not terrible. It's still reasonably sized. Some devices are more difficult, like your desktop and your other devices. Like when you can't see, those you really can't see. I mean, that's my experience. So they want to know. I'm just gonna say customized. Okay. Location services. You can either have that enabled or have that not enabled. It's really up to you. You can have Apple Pay, or you can hit set up later. You can have Siri turned on now or do it later. You can have screen time now or have that set up later. Analytics, whether you want to share that. Now, here's where you first start to get to be able to start making changes. Starts asking you, what kind of appearance do you want? Like I've talked about before, I personally like dark mode. So much easier on the eye. For me at least. Welcome to iPad. So we're going to get started. So here it is. Now, I have this and, well, it's already paired. That's great. So you can kind of use it to do the things. So you can see that this is, let me see if I can turn this to a screen recording. Okay, so now you'll be able to see what I'm seeing. So, so the first thing I usually do, go here into my settings, and then I come down to, like I told you before, I come to, whoops, accessibility, and we're going to come over here to, let's see, no, okay, hold on, I touched something, okay, so, accessibilities, Apple Pencil, we're gonna have to play around with that. Okay, so, all right, so display and brightness, text size. We're gonna just go ahead and, for now, we're just gonna max that out. Okay. And we have bold text. We're going to turn that on. You see how that kind of got just a little bit bolder, but more contrast. That's why I like that one. Okay, now we're going to come back to this. We're going to go to zoom, because if you remember, I had that little box and I had that little controller on my screen so that I could see what I was doing. So I'm going to turn zoom on. And look at that, it's already over here. Okay, now actually, what I need to do is, let me turn this off. I need to go to, accessibility shortcuts. Okay, because we want this, and we want smart invert. These are the ones I like to put on here. I don't actually know what other one I would want to do. Maybe because I have the pencil, let's try hover text and see if that does anything. Okay, so now what'll happen is I'm going to be, this is that option that I had before that will let me triple click and turn that accessibility on. So I'm going to be clicking this side button here is what would be the home button now. So if I just 1, 2, 3, pops that up, so then I can hit zoom, And now I have this over here, and I can just do, 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 do. Okay. Now, this is really interesting to me. Okay. So, I told you before that you have a little controller that you can then tap it and make it happen. So on this one, its default is to have the controller hidden. So you have to tap on this part here and then hit show controller. And now here it is right over here. So I can move this around. This will be really handy to do with the pencil. And then I can double tap that, make that go away. Something I noticed when I was doing my video for the last one is that it was not showing in the screen recording having this turned on. Like, it was not showing this little window of zooming. So it's going to be interesting to see if it shows that in this video. But that's why I want to show this angle so that you can see it on the screen in case it's not actually showing on the other thing. So basically, we have, now I'm not going to lie, this is not as big of text as I would like to see, but I mean, what are you going to do? So, but it's not terrible. So you take what you can. So I'm actually really surprised. Oh, here we go. Display and text size. Okay. Large text is turned off. So let's see what happens. So see, I can increase it even more. That's what I want to say. So, all right. So we already have bold text on. Smart invert, classic invert. I think for now, that's probably all the things I need to do. Here it is set up, generally speaking. I'm going to have to do some more things that will be kind of setting it up. But it doesn't take too long to go in and find your settings for what you need. And then here with the Apple Pencil, there's a flat edge to this, and then it just attaches right there. Now it's going to tell me some things about the Apple Pencil, which is going to be really fun to play around with. So, I don't know if I'm still recording, but we have your Apple Pencil unlocks the whole new iPad experience. We have create a quick note, swipe your pencil from the bottom right. We have scribble. You can write, like if you're in your note-taking app, you can write the words physically and it automatically turns it to text, which is really nice. You can double tap and it will go between like writing and eraser or some different things like that. Easily capture screenshots. Swipe your Apple Pencil from the bottom left corner to take a screenshot. So we're going to try scribble. So let's see. It did it. Hello all. Okay. Explore double tap. Okay. So we're going to okay. You can see it showing it there. So I can, oh, maybe it's not letting me actually. There we go. And then I can just and erase it. So that's pretty cool. So if I want to take a note, capture a quick note, you can, this is pretty handy. So I can say, someone's phone number real quick. Hit done. It then appears up here in my it then will appear up here in my quick notes. Right there. That's the one I had. So then I can add more. Whoops. So that's pretty nice. Okay. The screenshot, grab from the bottom left, mark it up. You know, great, awesome. I have options. I can trash it, I can save it, I can send it. I can do all kinds of stuff down here with it, crop it. So when I hit done, I think I have the option to save it to my photos, save it to a quick note, files, copy and delete. That's interesting. So it's pretty neat, all the things you can do with this pencil. As you see, okay, so this is kind of cool. When you put this on, it's going to show you your battery percentage. And then if you swipe to the side all the way, oops, you can see your batteries down there. So that one there is the pencil. So this iPad is last year's model. It's the M1 chip. And the iPad I showed you before was the 2017, I believe, iPad Pro. So there's kind of older and younger kind of technology. You know, it's kind of an older device with a newer device, but they're still offering a lot of the same features. Now, as I kind of dive into this more, I might come across something that maybe is new. But if I do, I'll do another video to kind of follow up with that. But if there's anything that I didn't really talk about that maybe I talked about before, or maybe you've heard about and you kind of want to know, is this something I can do on an iPad? Something that I want to actually maybe do a little video on is using programs like Adobe Illustrator, because I'm a graphic designer, and so Adobe Illustrator is something I want to be able to run on here. Also some video editing apps. So one of the things that I personally am kind of excited to be able to try on here is that little zoom magnification, because especially if you're going to do something in Illustrator, I can do what I need to do in Illustrator and then have that little window of magnification and move it around to where I need it. So I'm gonna, at some point, I'm gonna do a video about that, because I think that is a really cool thing that I'll be able to do. So, but if there's anything that you have some interest in, just leave it down in the comments and we'll see what kind of video we can make.